Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me today. So, checking on my Facebook, make sure we are going live and you see this. All right. Let me double check here. Refreshing, and there I am. So, I know I've been having some connectivity problems. I got a new laptop, and sometimes the connectivity on the internet for some reason has been in and out getting that checked. So if my sound doesn't come through or there's some choppiness, I'm going to be uploading this to my YouTube channel and any of our Century 21 HomeStar agents. Every week I'm going to email you all the videos for the week too. So just wanted to let you know that, and thank you for all the people that are texting me when there's issues. I appreciate that. So today, very important topic, because I'm on the phone at least 2 times every day with agents, minimum twice. And we lost out on multiple offers. What should I do to make my offers better? Just yesterday, the 2 that I had, both offers, one was I think 14,000 over asking, another one 19,000 over asking, and did not get it. So today I'm going to give you my experience, my opinion, and that's my disclaimer, because there's different ways that agents, brokers, managers like to explain what they feel is best. So I'm going to talk about more about buyers today, but also a little bit about professionalism and things that I think agents in general should do. So, multiple offer situation. First, number one, you have to explain to your buyers what kind of situation we're in, because buyers don't get into this. They think multiple offers. They think that sometimes they think that they get nervous. Some back out. Also, legally, and if you need a video from Peg Rittenauer from the Division of Real Estate, listing agents do not have to tell you you're in a multiple offer situation. Do you hear that? Because I get that from agents, like they have to tell us. Like, they do not have to tell you that you are in a multiple offer situation. So you can, you don't have to even know. So I tell our agents, you might be in a multiple offer situation and not know it. And buyers think that they're the only offer, and they're going to start low and see some counter offers and things like that. So very important. You got to make sure that you know that you are you might be in a multiple offer situation and not know it. So explain to your buyers, you really should in this market go highest and best at all times. 2, I'm getting escalation clauses from people. Should I use an escalation clause? And they think that that's automatically going to win. Again, my opinion, I'm telling our agents, our buyers, my suggestion, do not use an escalation clause with your offers. They're getting multiple offers and they're getting multiple escalation clauses. We just had a seller that refused to take the escalation clause and took an offer that was just cleaner for $5,000 less. Even though we explained it to them, they didn't want to take an escalation clause, and it was just confused them. So to put your buyer ahead is, don't use an escalation clause. Don't confuse the seller. Go your highest and best on that. Also, I'm jumping across to escalation clauses on the seller side of things. What we suggest, or I suggest to sellers, you do not have to entertain an escalation clause. It's just that's what they're offering. So my opinion, when an escalation clause is, example, they say I'm going to go up, my offer is $250, but I'll go up to $255 if you show me a higher offer and go up $1,000 more. So any agent that's experienced that, but any of our agents that has a listing and gets an escalation clause, I'm happy to help you work through it and what we suggest to our sellers. But that example, $250 will go up to $255. They just showed their cards. They said, hey, I'm going to go up to $255. So we suggest our sellers to go back and counter at 255. Don't entertain the escalation clause. You don't have to do that. So if you do get a buyer that insists on an escalation clause and they think that legally the seller has to show them the next offer that's lower and prove to them to go up to that higher amount, they do not. So you have to explain to your buyers, because there's buyers, they don't just always listen to us. Sometimes they go on the internet and read chat rooms or talk to their friends or relatives that have gone through it. Oh yeah, you got to. At least once or twice a month I have an agent going, I have a buyer that's insisting on an escalation clause because their uncle or cousin told them they used it and they won an offer from it. So we help them understand the situation they're in. Third, with your buyer, is to have them talk to their loan officer, and I explain this to buyers, is that please ask your loan officer, once you get your pre-approval and what your payments would be on a particular house and price range you want to be in, but ask him him or her, ask him how much per payment, how much is a payment every $1,000 that you go in price. And that $1,000 could be less than $5 a month, depending upon the rate and the terms. So we'll just say $5 a month. $10,000 over asking could be $50 a month in payment. And if buyers don't understand that, some of the buyers have gotten upset. We've had buyers get upset in the past because they didn't know that. They thought, they might not understand the math. They might not understand what they're really paying. They go, wow, I don't want to pay $10,000 more. It's $10,000. Yes, it is, but if this is the home of your dreams and you want to be in this area and there might not be another one coming on the market and you have to move, would you miss out on this house for $50 more in payment a month? You have to explain that to them. Talk to your loan officer and make sure. Fourth is I suggest you explain to your buyers that if you're getting a loan, obviously it's not cash, and you're getting a loan, I could guarantee you your bank or mortgage company is not going to allow you to overpay for this house. Because sometimes they go, oh, I don't want to overpay. I don't want to overpay. I don't want to overpay. I don't want to spend too much. I go, you have checks and balances. You're going to have an appraisal, and the bank's going to make sure the value is there for you. Now, there are agents and listing agents that are putting in clauses into the contract that the buyers will pay the difference if the appraisal comes in lower. Please, any agents of ours, Century 21 HomeStar agents, if you're a buyer, if you see these clauses, reach out to me. I'll help you make sure we look out for the best interests of our buyers on that. And then also if you have sellers that want that, I want to put that in there. There's still ways you have to really word it because it still falls under the financing contingency. Example, I've had agents, oh, you said you'd pay the difference. Yeah, I'll be happy to pay the difference. As a buyer, I've seen this happen several times. Buyers right in there, I'll pay the difference, but then they didn't ask their lender if they'll allow it, and then they can't get the mortgage. So no matter what you put in writing as a buyer, or agree to, if you can't get the loan, you can't buy the house. So some agents get caught in that. You wrote and the buyer agreed to this. I go, yes, but now they can't get, no one will give them a loan because the appraisal is $20,000 less and they don't have $20,000 cash in the bank to pay the difference, or their lender won't. So you get stuck with having something in writing, but you can't move forward. So that happens a lot too. So you got to make sure that you don't get into a situation like that. Example, If it's our listing and we put that in there, we want a letter, a pre-approval letter explaining, or a letter from the lender, their loan officer, stating that they are aware of this and that they can financially afford to pay if the appraisal comes in 5,000 less or 10,000 less. You know, you got to put a limit. You can't say pay the difference. If the appraisal comes in 50,000 less, you can't go in there and go, okay, I don't have $50,000 to pay the difference. So you got to word it. So again, any of our Century 21 HomeStar agents, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to walk you through the whole scenario. Every scenario is a little bit different on that. So these are some ideas, but this one I think is the really most important. You know, those are some topics of, you know, things that you should do. Another one's keeping it simple. You know, terms, price, down payment, pre-approval, inspections, no inspections. We've been getting a lot of that. Just want to let little disclaimer: when you, as an agent, have a buyer and allow, or I can't really say allow, but don't suggest to them to have an inspection and to get a house, puts you at, I don't even know exponentially how much percentage chance of liability for the future. So as an agent, we of course always suggest to our buyers, get an inspection, get an inspection, get an inspection. But on the other note, we want them to have an inspection on the other side of things to limit our liability. That we do anything wrong, we're doing what our buyers want. But when they don't have an inspection and things go wrong in the house, and they legally they talk to an attorney, they drag everybody into it, and they'll bring up how the agent didn't. They always say this, because I've been doing this 29 years, and you're in the real estate business selling thousands of homes every year, and you're in business 29 years, lawsuits happen. It just does. And the number one thing that the attorney says is that the agent didn't push, didn't suggest, even though you did, and drags you into a lawsuit, costs you time and lots of money. So I suggest everybody have an inspection, but now we're seeing offers with buyers trying to go in because they want to win this and do no inspection. So please talk to me. Let's find out the situation, find about the house, and make that judgment, because every house is different, every buyer is different, every seller is different. Let's talk about that if you get in that situation. As your broker who's legally responsible for everything you do and legally responsible and connected to every one of our transactions, I want to help and consult and make sure we're doing what's in the best interest of our buyers and sellers. So, I mean, this topic could go on forever, but this is the most important one. This is the most important one. And I was leaving this to the end because I could go on forever about this. Is not just numbers, not just conditions, not just this. Is in multiple offer situations, it's not just the offer that the other agent is interested in, even though if they consciously or don't consciously know this, is that you have to sell yourself as their agent, their representative of your buyer, of why they should want to do business with you. Especially to our newer agents in the business, not just brand new, but newer agents in the business. After years and years of real estate and creating your career, you get to a point where, and many of you who watch us have been in business for a while, I'll reach out to you with this. And everybody raise their hand or go, I've been through that, have had deals that you did not have a good relationship, either their fault or not, with another agent, and the other agent was horrible, that they didn't communicate, they almost hurt the deal because they combative, they just were not looking out for their client's best interest, they were not fun to work with, they didn't communicate well, the closing was delayed, the financing wasn't watched, and delays here, delays there, they didn't do the inspection on time, they didn't get back in a timely fashion. The list is endless. Raise your hand. Have you had that happen? Have that happen? Yes, you have. I talk to agents several times a month that tell me, oh my God, I got a multiple offer situation. One of them's with so-and-so agent. I had a deal with her or him last year that was horrible. I don't want to work with this agent again. What should I do? I suggest, of course, and we have our sellers that ask us about this, is that you have to consult with them. You got to tell them your experience. You got to say, here's 2 offers or here's 3 offers. I just want to let you know this offer right here, I had a transaction with this agent last year. He or she didn't really get a good pre-approval, and there's problems with the people getting a loan approval. They didn't follow up with me, and we had delays here. You have to tell them your experience, because if all of a sudden things fall apart with a transaction and you didn't tell them that you had a bad experience and this agent didn't do a good job, that affects the transaction. And there are agents out there, any of you, raise your hand. Any agent that's been in the business a while has a kind of a list, maybe just in the back of their head, of some of the few agents they just don't like to work with as much as the other agents that they've worked with. We all have that list, like, oh boy, don't really like to deal with this agent. So our buyers and sellers don't understand that this happens in the background. So the point of that story is that you have to build a reputation of you're good to work with, that you're responsive, you're not combative, that you're going to be there to help. Some agents hate to do this. They think it's a pride-swallowing thing for some reason. But my opinion, your buyer, multiple offer situation, call, pick up the phone, text the other agent, go, please call me. I just will take 2 minutes of your time. I just want to tell you something about my buyers and myself. Give them a few minutes to sell them on you and how helpful you'll be, how you want them to have this house, that you'll be there, not beck and call, but you'll be available. You'll pick up the phone. I'm going to be on top of financing. I'm going to make sure the appraisals order. I'm going to make sure they get their inspections done. I will keep you informed when we're there, when we leave. I'll make sure that the title company has information and the closings on time. So you got to sell them yourself on how you're going to help this transaction and help them make their lives easier. Nothing's worse to an agent. How many of us, raise your hand, have been through a transaction either on the buyer side or seller side, and you're like, gosh, I'm doing the work of 2 agents here, the other agent's not being helpful at all, just fell off the planet when the offer came in. How many of us have had that? So to the newer agents, you don't want that to happen. You want that when you get in a multiple offer situation, that agent go, I want to deal with that agent. Now, you got to remember, if that you've never had a transaction with that agent, you don't have a history. They have they don't know you at all. And some good listing agents, and I know some of you out there that are with us, ask me if I've had experience with the agent before they accept offer. I have had agents look up their license number and go, oh, so some of our newer agents just got your license. When the agents, experiencers, some agents, doesn't matter if they're experienced or not, will look up your license number and they'll say, oh, they're new. Oh, it might be hard to deal with them. But so you might be at a disadvantage for your buyers sometimes because they're assuming they see a 2020 license or 2019 license and just assume you're inexperienced. So to our Century 21 HomeStar agents, you call them and I'll give you the script and the things to say, explain. My broker, Tony Geraci, is right behind me the whole way. It's going to help me with this transaction, and we're working on it. I'm here for you. I'm going to be on top of this. I know I'm newer, but if you need anything from me, if there's a signature, initial, a time frame, is there anything, I'll be right on top of this. To a listing agent that has someone, doesn't matter if new or experienced, there are some agents out there that are very good agents that are very, very busy. They're selling 50, 60, 70 houses a year. They're on a team here or there, and they can't get a hold of them. So I know this is a controversial comment, but there are some very, very successful agents that are terrible to work with. And there's some very, very brand new agents that are awesome to work with. And they're available, and they'll get the things done, and they're on top of things. It's kind of like, I use this example a lot, when you walk into a restaurant and there's one table, and there's 3 servers and 2 chefs and a hostess, and God, there's one table. What are you going to think? I got great service. They're going to be right on top of me. I'm the only person they have. Same with new agents. Sometimes you're the only buyer they're working with now. You're going to be on top of it. The phone rings, you're picking up. An agent that has 50 deals a year might not be available. They're always showing houses every day. They're always working on 5 of their transactions. They're working on the transactions now they're closing this week, not the one that's closing 4 weeks from now. So the point is, to all of that, was make sure you call the other agent. Sell them on how good you're going to be in working with this transaction. Help them make their lives easier. And you're going to be on top of it. How pre-approved they are, how you're talking with the lender, and how you're on top of everything and make sure the paperwork's done. And you're going to be available. You're not, because sometimes some agents feel that new agents are part-time and they have other jobs, and they are not going to be available and can't get a hold of them. That's kind of a perception that's out there. You got to explain that's not the case with you. Other point is pre-approvals. There we have the situation. There's 2 offers. It happens. I've had this happen a couple times last year. We have 2 offers. They're identical. One's from a pre-approval of some online lender or somewhere from Wichita, and some mortgage company or bank here in town, or someone knows their name and who they are, and they're picking the offer with a pre-approval of someone they know. So where you get your loan from and who you deal with is very, very important to your buyer. So if your buyer's a shopper, they're just like, I'm going all over, hey, it shouldn't matter where I get my loan. Yes, it does. It matters because they have to trust that this lender is trustworthy and they're doing what they're doing. And if that listing agent or that seller's not comfortable where you're getting your loan, you might miss out. Technically, it shouldn't matter, but they have to compare. They have to pick one. You might be putting your buyer at a disadvantage if you don't suggest to them to get a pre-approval from someone, or there's many, and not just pick something out of the blue on that. I really think, in my opinion, should be a lender, a loan officer, someone that you've worked with before, your office has worked with before, or recommend someone that is not just a voice on the other line, someone that has been doing business for a while. That's my suggestion. Secondly, this is a few things on that, but some people I suggest to have the loan officer contact the listing agent, because we all have been through this. We've had deals fall apart at the end of a transaction because the lender went into underwriting. It fell apart. They didn't really verify their income or really verify their employment, all of that. You could have the loan officer reach out to the listing agent if you want to, and with your buyer's approval, and help sell and say they're going to be on top of it. Imagine, hey, listing agent, I'm also the loan officer here. I want to let you know this is a real pre-approval. I verify their income, verify their credit, verify their employment. This is good. We're 90% there. We just have to get updated pay stubs or W-2s or bank statements, and everything's there. Not just sometimes, some places a pre-approval is not worth the paper it's written on. So you could have that and let them know that we have the ball rolling. So there's many things that you can do to sell yourself, sell their pre-approval, sell the lender where they're going, and making it easy and communicating that with agents. Don't just send over the offer and text or email the other agent, here's an offer, let me know. That doesn't put your buyer at a good situation. Now, I know a lot of my videos I go through the past, like way back in the past when dinosaurs rolled into the planet while we were selling houses. 29 years ago, we used to present the offers in person. We used to go take our offer in our hand, go to the sellers, listing agents, anybody watching this been in the business 20 plus years. We used to go to the listing, with a listing agent to the seller's house, sit around their table and explain our offer and sell them on our offer. Talk about the buyers, talk about the financing, talk about this, talk about that, answer their questions, go through the contract with them. And I've been in places where I've read, the agent wanted me to read the whole contract. I read the whole contract to the sellers. Now we don't have that opportunity, just the way the business has changed and presenting offers. So you take that, and I know for 100% fact that I got won our offer and got our offer accepted by how I presented it to the seller. So now, 20 some years later, we're sending offers to buyer or sellers agents and not selling it, not having that dialogue, not having that conversation, not selling it, and just trying to let the numbers speak for themselves. So that listing agent's probably not going to allow or want, or the seller, to you to talk directly to the seller. So talk directly to the agent. Say, can I please present this to you, and take a few moments of your time. Some agents won't. Don't force it on them, but you could ask nicely, and it could be by text. Can you please call me? I would love to present this offer, and I know you're a busy person, and I would love the opportunity to present this to you, because there's a little more things in the background, just numbers, just terms in there. So that's really about it. I mean, I could go on for hours on this. I didn't want to keep our video going more than a half hour. I'm going longer than I thought I would on this, but I love this topic. I love it's winning offers and really doing something for our buyers other than letting the numbers speak for themselves. And if you could master some of these things, I have agents that lost buyers because they're missing out on their third house that they put offers for, or their fourth house. They're just putting in offers, and they keep on losing. Like, again, at two, that was like $14,000 and $19,000 over asking just yesterday. And they're going, if you don't explain to your buyers all the extra things that you're doing to try to get them to win over multiple offers, they might lose confidence in you and go find another agent. When they're talking to their friends and relatives, next thing you know, they're like, oh, we lost out on another one. Like, how did you lose out on another one? Maybe your agent's not representing you the way you should. And the next thing you know, you lose a buyer after showing them dozens and dozens and dozens of houses, writing offer after offer, and then you lose them. You don't want to do that. So explain to them, sell them on all the things that you're going to be doing in the background, in the foreground, when the offers are being submitted, you're going to do to win these bids and win these multiple offers. So they're so thankful for the thing you did to get them in there and get them that house and above and everybody else. And there's multiple offers coming in all at the same price. There's only if the listed price is $250,000, there's 10 multiple offers on a property. There's probably some of them they're almost identical or are identical. I've seen it happen to our listings. Identical offers. Now, how to pick which one you should work with. So that's it for today. I don't want to keep too much of your time, but I'm happy to do this one-on-one. If you want to talk, we'll set up a time. We go over 20 minutes or so. And definitely, if you're in a situation, it's your listing or your buyer, I want to actively help and coach you and consult with our buyers and see what situation they're in and what we can do to sweeten up that offer to make sure that we could put our buyers up on top. So that's it. Have a great day. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you tomorrow at high noon with another great topic and some coaching and some motivation. So have a great day, everyone. We'll see many of you very soon. Bye-bye.